All right, so thank you everybody. Welcome to episode number 6 of the Let's Make Synthwave show. Today, I'm going to be creating music live for you, starting with an 8-bar loop and then turning it into a 90-second quick and dirty arrangement. And this episode is going to be very special. And I'm only going to be using a Yamaha DX7 emulation for all my synth needs and Yamaha RX5 drum samples for all the music that I'll be creating today. This live stream is going to last for around 2 hours. During the first 60 minutes, I'm going to be creating the foundation, the main stack, or the 8-bar loop that will then turn into said 90 seconds of music over the second half of the show. All right, and let's get into it. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. Let's see where we are. As you have noticed on the thumbnail for the stream or this video, we're going to be using the mighty DX7 and the Yamaha RX5 drum machine, but also kind of in the background, I'm hinting at, if you don't see it, that's Van Damme. That's an iconic image from the movie Bloodsport. I gotta be honest with you, like over the past couple of weeks, I watched Bloodsport and Kickboxer and listened to the soundtracks to those movies like almost nonstop. And it's like, it had been years, 20 years maybe, I'm giving my age away. Yeah, I'm 45, I'm an old dude. It had been years, maybe 20 since I watched those movies. And I hadn't fully appreciated the movies themselves and the soundtracks. The soundtracks are just amazing. And the soundtracks were made by the same dude, Paul Herzog. And I really recommend you go to Spotify, whatever your favorite streaming service is, or YouTube, and look up the soundtracks and listen to them a lot. They're very, very, very good. And back in the 80s, it was very common for, let's say, music producers or composers who wrote the soundtracks for these movies. Most of them, they were budget movies. There wasn't a lot of money to hire orchestras and go and record in big studios and all of that. Budgets were limited. So the Yamaha DX7 was a godsend to all of these composers for all of these movies. And why? And even though Prophet, like the Prophet 5 by Sequential Circuits and maybe the Oberheims and some of those synths were kind of accessible, still, you can make great sounds with those, but they're very limited, and because they sound like synths, right? Like pads and saws and square waves and all that. It's great, but for when you want to compose for music, compose for film, you need a broader palette of sounds. Like you need strings, you need marimbas and mallets, and you need to be able to come up with woodwind instruments and with horns and brass and percussion and a whole slew of things. And the really cool thing about the DX7 is that via FM synthesis, it could create all of those sounds. So imagine, of course, a composer that didn't have the money to buy a synclavier or a CMI by Fairlight that cost like a house and 3 mortgages back then. Imagine that this very cheap, quote-unquote, synth by Yamaha, you could create all of those sounds, and I think it cost like, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000 when it came out. So one dude with a DX7 and a drum machine like the Sequential Circuits drum tracks or the RX5, which came out later in the late 80s, still, or Lin, with the Lin and a DX7, you could like score so much stuff and create like so much music. And if you listen to the soundtrack of many movies in the early 80s, the mid 80s, especially the budget movies, it's like FM sounds galore, mostly by the DX7. So it's such a great instrument, and you can do like so much stuff with it. So today, this is part of the inspiration, is Bloodsport, Kickboxer, getting into some kind of Asian vibe fight music, quote unquote Asian, as was inspired by or digested by white dudes in the US for these soundtracks, right? So it's not going to be authentically Asian sounding music, but our interpretation of that. And so we're going to go for that, especially the Fight to Survive track from Bloodsport. So it's going to be fight music inspired by that. Alrighty, my friends. Thank you much for being here, Sam, Mark, Jerome, Mick. And I'm just gonna preemptively say that FM synthesis can be very tricky or is hard to understand in a way because it's different from subtractive synthesis. It's like speaking a language based on Latin characters such as English, let's say German, Spanish, French, and then try and understand a language that is made up of symbols, such as an Asian language like Korean, Japanese, or Chinese. They are two completely different languages, literally. So the way you make FM sounds is very different. So I'm not gonna get into the synthesis part. So I'm just gonna use the Dext, which is the synth that I'm gonna be using as a preset player for a whole slew and a lot of sound banks and presets that you can find online. I downloaded like a zip file with like 20,000 FM7 DX7 presets a while back. So that's going to be our approach for today. Alrighty, so let's get into the DAW and let's start making some music here. I'm also still making a mess of myself, but that's fine. Alright, so first thing first, let's get into the vibe of fight music. For today, our tempo is going to be 114 BPM, the key of A minor, and mostly we're going to do pentatonic, minor pentatonic stuff. For now, I just have a very simple groove, kick and snare. And I also have this percussion loop that I found in my hard drive to kind of get us in the ballpark very quickly. Alright, we'll come back and tweak some of these things later. For now, I wanted to start with an ostinato pattern, which is a rhythmic repeating pattern that will play throughout our track. And I wanted to have definitely a kind of Asian ethnic kind of sound. So I'm going to use a pentatonic, minor pentatonic approach, and we're going to go with a marimba sound. Like so. So this is Dext, which is a free synth, by the way. There are many free DX7 emulations. Dext is very good. There's one by Arturia that I have that I'm not using here because of a different reason, which I'm not going to get into. But in any case, don't get scared by the interface. It can be very overwhelming. And I'm just simply going to use this as think of it as a sample player or as a preset player. And this sound, this marimba sound, if I'm not mistaken, is from this is the 20,000 preset sound bank sysx stuff that I found. I think it's from ROM 1. I don't want to click away in case that I lose it. It's called marimba. Okay, let me raise the octaves here. Okay, and what we're gonna do... Okay. I'm gonna create an ostinato pattern. You can look it up on Wikipedia. It's a repetitive pattern, rhythmic pattern, where I'm gonna kind of play the same notes over and over again. So it's like a looping pattern. A persistent looping, repeating pattern. We're gonna base it on the E minor pentatonic, which is this. No, here. Alright, so I'm gonna do something like this. Let me find my octaves. Okay, I'm gonna do something like this where I play certain notes with my right hand, and then I'm gonna fill in the gaps by playing this E note kind of as the root of our pattern, okay? Like this. And simply what I'm doing is I'm playing a couple of notes from the pentatonic, minor pentatonic, like this. Or maybe... something like that. And again, I'm going to fill in the blanks with my left hand. So something like this. that's where we're going to go for. And for whatever reason, this reminded me of this. Let me see if I can pull it off. Hold on. I'm not gonna get derailed by that. All right. So oh, there it is. Does anyone recognize that? I'll leave that there and just slowly walk away. All right, so back to our pattern. It's going to be based on 16th notes. So what we're going to do is play like a higher octave, like this. Okay, so it's higher octave, then followed by 2 lower octave notes, like this. Let's solo this thing. Okay, with a click. All right. Right. Cool. And here I can introduce a little bit of a variation to break the pattern up, like that, maybe. I think so. All right, I think we're going places with this thing. Yeah, Cole, Iron Maiden wasted years. Thank you very much. I'm giving away my metal background. I used to be a huge metalhead back in the day when I was in high school. Still enjoy it very much, but I don't produce that. Okay, so that's that, and let's give this thing a little bit of an ambience. I have set up a reverb. It's a hall reverb, and immediately it's giving us a great vibe. But I do hear some resonances that I don't like. So first off, I'm gonna high pass this thing. Here I hear some resonance. That's terrible. Okay, cool. And maybe some delay. I'm not sure if it would muddy up the whole thing. But let's try it out. Maybe just a little less reverb. Low cut and high cut to the delay. Just can't help myself, guys. Okay, this is a great vibe. Now, it wasn't Doom, it was Iron Maiden wasted years, like Cole said. Alright. Now, let's create some bass. And of course, we're gonna be using the famous, ultra famous bass. Is this bass 2 or bass 1? Bass 1 patch from the original DX7. Great stuff, my friends. FM7 is such a great FM synthesis and FM sounds are really, really cool. For a long time, I had just hadn't used them, but since I watched these movies for the past 2 weeks and started digging more into the DX7 and the FM sounds, I'm just I have fallen in love with the whole thing. Okay, so for this, let's do. For starters, something like this. So I want the bass to be very driving, like this, percussive. It's not gonna play like a standard 8th note pattern, 16th note rolling bass for synthwave. Oh well, and if you hadn't noticed, today I think it's gonna be synthwave adjacent, synthwave-ish, or some of the roots of synthwave, not your run-of-the-mill or let's say mainstream time cop kind of synthwave. So we're going back to the roots. Cool. Okay, I think we're gonna use something like this for the intro of our track, but once we get into things, we need some kind of chord progression. And for this, a tried and true progression is what I call the 6-5-4-5, or looking at it from using Roman numerals from the minor perspective, it would be the 1-7-6-7. In any case, it's E minor. Then we go down one tone, and then again one tone further down from that, and come back up like this. Right? Cool. But just let's give this thing a little bit of movement here by doing something at the end of every chord before it changes. Something like maybe doing like the 3rd and 5th or 3rd and octave. So here would be G is the 3rd, A is the 4th. That's pretty cool. Yeah, let's do exactly that, but adjusting the chords as we go along. So it gives a very cool combination of this like very rhythmic thing on the downbeats, but then we do like this flurry or this little embellishment towards the end, just to keep things, or to help keep things moving and not so static and monolithic. Cool. Here do the same thing, D, F sharp is the 3rd, maybe do G. Yeah, cool, that works. And here, same thing, the 3rd is E, maybe we can do the 5th. Yeah, because the 4th is an augmented 4th. It doesn't sound bad. Definitely, I think I like the 5th more. And here it's something similar. Maybe different from this one or the same. I'm not sure. What if our first note is E. Let's try that. Yeah, I like it. Nice groove. Let's compress the bass using an LA2A emulation. And I'm just tweaking the peak reduction knob until I see the needle getting to 5 or 7 dB of gain reduction. Just to give the bass more stability. Okay, I like it there. Cool. For now, let's leave it there. Okay. The very simple drum pattern that I have for now, while I'm at it, let me mute this percussion loop and focus on the drums for a while. Okay. The drums are part or included in the Synthwave Dojo 80s Drum Machine sample pack, which is available for free at synthwavedojo.com/downloads. Like I said, they are in the, or part of the Yamaha RX5 sample pack inside that sample pack. So here's the kick, the snare. None of these have any kind of effects. Closed hat, open hats. This clap, I'm not going to use it. This is the crash. Tom 1, Tom 2, Tom 3. They already have a strong gated reverb effect, which will come in handy. And this is our shaker. Cool. What I want to do for this pattern is create a 16th note hi-hat pattern. Kind of like this. But I want the pattern to have accents on the 8th note upbeats. So for that, what I'm going to do is select the notes that I don't want to have the accent and pull their velocity down like so. Okay, cool. And the other thing that I want to do is humanize these notes a little bit. I have a function in my DAW called humanize where I can kind of adjust or change the velocities and the note starting positions. So for this, what I'm going to do first is just tweak the velocity ranges a little bit. Not too much to go crazy, but just a little bit so they don't all sound the same. And I think most DAWs have some kind of groove or humanize or random MIDI velocity function, so you have to dig up the manual, see what you have available. But watch here, once that I click apply, that the note velocities will change ever so slightly. So it's not going to be drastic. It's just going to change a little bit. There you see. And I can do that again a couple of times, just so the notes aren't exactly the same, so we have a more of an organic feel. And I find that sometimes it's better to apply a couple of rounds of this randomization in little bits than doing one round with, in this case, like 15 or 20%. That's like gets too out of hand. And then the other thing I want to do is change the starting position of the notes, but not of the first note here. So I don't want to change the velocities anymore, but I do want to change the starting ranges. And here's where you need to experiment in your DAW what those ranges are, because I don't know if these are ticks or whatever. Okay, I want to see the notes move here a little. Okay. Yeah, it's a tiny little thing, but it helps with achieving a more organic feel. Oh, and something that I forgot now that we're going for organic is that when you play a 16th note pattern like this, a drummer doesn't play the hi-hat with the snare because the drummer doesn't have 3 hands. What am I doing here? Okay, I think I made a bit of a mistake, but I can't recover. Hold on, no, like this. That's it. Duplicate the whole thing. Cool. And let me pan the hats to the left. Because I want to have shakers on the right, doing kind of the same thing. So 16th notes. Get rid of this. Okay, the same thing with the accents. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's that, and right, pull all of them down a little bit, and then use the same randomization function, and let's edit the velocity ranges, like minus, just a little bit more this time. Cool. And then let's edit or randomize the starting point of all except the first downbeat. By 8, whatever that value is, I don't know. Okay, cool. Okay, why are you doing this to me? Cool. All right. This is sounding cool. So we're panning the shaker opposite the hi-hat. Great stuff. Let's set up a room reverb here. Let's go for 80s. Room, like 1 second. And let's send a little bit of the shaker and the hats into this room. Not so much, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And while we're at it, let's also send this crash into the room reverb. Nice. Alrighty. We're making great progress here, my friends. Yeah, different DAWs have different functions. On some of them it's not necessarily swing. Swing is kind of a different thing. Groove maybe, but I wasn't. When you use a groove function, I think at least in live, it copies a pattern, but I wasn't really going for a pattern, just randomizing the notes a little bit. So you have to experiment with that. Yeah, maybe it's not necessarily swing. You got to be careful because swing will create a triplet and shuffle feel, which is not what we're doing here. We're going for straight 8s or straight 16s, just moving them a little bit so they, as a drummer plays, the best drummer in the world will play very well against a click track, but there are tiny, tiny variations on every hit. It's not so much as them being shuffle or a swing or triplet feel, but it's just enough so they don't sound robotic, right? So you got to be careful with that and just look whatever function works for you best in your DAW. And while we're at this, let's use some compression on the drums. And I'm gonna do very simple stuff. 4:1 ratio, 30 millisecond attack to preserve our transients. I don't want to obliterate the drums. Very aggressive knee. Release around 50 milliseconds is gonna be fine. And then just bring the threshold down until I see here a good 4 dB of gain reduction. Like that. Just to give the drums a little bit more cohesion and power. Cool. Same with the snare. And any compressor you have available will work. I just like certain sounds, that's all. 30 milliseconds attack. A great approach to compressing the kick and the snare, which is my default bread and butter approach, is 30 milliseconds attack. That will conserve and keep the transients and enhance the transients. Release between 50 milliseconds and 100 milliseconds, and a ratio of 4:1 works very well. A strong knee, just so we have a good compression, good amount of compression, and then you just bring the threshold down until you get between 4 and 5, maybe 6. It starts to get a little aggressive, but again, a tried and true approach: 30 milliseconds attack, 50 to 100 milliseconds release. Ratio 4:1, bring down the threshold until you get 4 dB of gain reduction, and that'll work very well. Like so. Then adjust the makeup gain if needed. And we're not going for super strong compression. If you pay attention, you can hear it in the front end. It has a little bit more of attack. A more focused whack. So we're not going for something like this. That's too choked. That's too much compression. Okay, and the snare, what you can do is get a good 4 or 5 dB of gain reduction, then set the release long enough or short enough so the gain reduction meter goes down to 0 by the next hit. So if you start at 100 milliseconds, it depends on the tempo, of course, but I think that's good. 50 milliseconds could work as well. Like that, that's fine. Cool. All right. What else? We couldn't have 80s drums without gated reverb, right? So, let's see how to set this up in the quickest way possible. Let me see if I can set this up here directly in my channel, as opposed to setting up a send and all that stuff. Let's go with Valhalla plate. Like 2 seconds. Let's bring the mix to around 40-ish. Let's make it kind of narrow. If you listen to Fight to Survive, the track that is inspiring this here live stream, the reverb on the snare is very narrow. It's not like this. Okay, I think this will work just fine. Let me set up an EQ afterward. Okay, and let's gate this thing. And whatever gate you have that you like and know how to use quickly will get you there. Because this gate has an open and a closed threshold or feature, I don't need to send the snare and as a sidechain. I can get that kind of sound with these controls. And then I can tweak the length here with the release. And I can tweak the mix between the dry and wet here. I think there it sounds very cool. All right, we're doing good, my friends. And let's also add a little bit of gated reverb to our kick, using the same approach. Let's use the Valhalla plate for this. 2 seconds. We don't want so much. And width also, same as with the snare, I don't want the width to be full. Like that, maybe. Like that. I don't want it to be so wide, narrower. Cool. And we're not going for an effect like this. A little more subtle. And let's gate this thing using the same technique. Let me get my preset. Oh, on this preset, simply you have the attack as fast as it can go, the hold as fast as it can go, and the release is what we're going to tweak along with the close parameter to get the length that we want. So that's too long. Like that, maybe. That's too much. Like there. Just want to give it a little bit of body. Not go crazy with it. And while we're at it, maybe the hats and the shaker are a little loud. I think that's cool. All right, my friends, I think we're in a great place. I've spent a lot of time on the drums and the bass and some of this other stuff. Now let's listen to this in context with a percussion loop and the marimba. So right out of the gate, we're in a great spot. Let me compress this a little bit as well. All right. We can send this to our room reverb, just a little bit as well. Alright, our fight music is coming along very well, if I may say so myself. Okay, let's see. I see some questions here. Is the compression dialing back the tail of the kick and snare but leaving behind the transient? What I'm doing is trying to enhance the transient and the attack of the drums with a 30 millisecond length of attack. And I'm not so worried about the tails, because if we had real drums recorded in a room, then the release of the compressor can help us enhance or bring up the tail. However, with drum samples such as this that are from these classic drum machines, they're very dry. It's like there's almost no tail, right? There's no room reverb because they weren't recorded in a room. So in this case, again, I'm going mostly for the attack, enhancing the attack with a 30 millisecond approach, and then I'm just using the reverb, the plate reverb, to give it a little bit more body, and the gate behind it to reduce the length of said reverb. All right. Okay, next up, we're definitely gonna need some kind of lead sound and some other stuff, of course. For now, let me try to come up with something for this pad sound. Again, it's also a DX7 preset. This one's called Rush. And this is not part of the standard DX7 presets. This is part of those 20,000 presets in the sound bank that's available online. All right. First of all, let me send this to reverb. And this is kind of low in level, so I'm gonna bring it up with a utility plugin, just so I don't have to raise my fader so much. If I find myself raising my fader like over 3 dB on any sound, it means that the gain staging is out of whack or something, like the original sound is lacking level. So with this mix tool, I'm gonna bring it to a level where I don't need to raise my fader so much. Okay, so our progression was E minor, D major, C major, back to D major. Something like that. Let's do this. I'm not gonna overcomplicate things, and I'm simply going to program what I played, which was standard root position E minor, D major, C major, D major, and then we'll use an inversion just so we don't get into, or we don't play such low notes that they could interfere with the bass. Okay, this is our starting point. Okay. And D. D is D, F sharp, A. C is C, E, G. And back to here. But I want to take these low notes and send them to a higher octave, just so they don't interfere with the bass. Nice, right? And because we're going for a authentic 80s kind of sound on this one, I'm not going to use sidechain on anything. In case you didn't know, sidechain compression or volume shaping, as we use it today in synthwave and all substyles, retrowave, cyberpunk, whatever, sidechain was not used as we use it today, like on everything. So we're going to go with that approach as well. All right, cool. Nice. Great stuff, my friends. Now let's focus on trying to come up with some kind of lead. And for that, we have this flute. But it sounds too dry, right? And kind of out of place. And that's the thing with FM sounds. If you just listen to them on their own, they sound weird. Or maybe not weird, but kind of like you can't fit them in a mix. You don't see how they could fit. But once you add a little bit of reverb, delay, and sometimes even chorus, like a Juno-style chorus, something very subtle, it's like all of a sudden, every sound, every preset that you play on your DX7, Dex, or whatever, sounds very cool. So let's do that same thing with this one. Okay, so that doesn't sound too interesting, right? But if we send it to reverb, maybe that's too long reverb. And even some delay. And I'm gonna go for kind of shorter notes followed by spaces and stops, thinking of a little bit of how a flute player would do this, at least on those soundtracks from the 80s. Kind of like that. Like. Kind of getting that vibe. Let me create a thing here, and while we're at it, this is going to be an 8-bar loop. Thank you. There's something, give me a second. Yeah, there's something wrong with my shaker. Hold on. All right. Because when I duplicate this, okay, screw it. Let's do it again. Okay, quickly. All right, like I said, let me do this very quickly. humanize a little bit. Velocity range. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that. That's fine. Okay, now it's working. When I was duplicating this, there was a gap being created. That means that something was wrong there. Okay, we're back to where we should be. Our flute. Just trying to find something there. Okay, let me focus on this for a while. Bum notes. All right. Okay, I'm not sure how I'm gonna record this because of latency. I know that the timing is gonna be all over the place. So I think I'm gonna pencil this in just for the sake of time. So let's start with a bit of a long note here. And a fast flurry like that. I think I'll need shorter notes, like a 30-second grid. Yeah, like that. A D. Yeah, I like that. A nice combination of short and long notes is really gonna work here. Yep. We're on C, I think. Let me bring the feedback of this delay down just some. No, I'm not liking this. Hold on. The first part I do like. Let's do this. Let me duplicate this and just edit the motif somehow. Okay, what if... Alright, not bad. Alright, but... Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Nice. Then let's duplicate this and change the motifs somewhat. All right. This one I'm gonna leave the same. But this one, I do want to have a little bit of something different towards the end. Yeah, I think this works. Let's listen to this in context. Well, once I finish compressing this thing, we'll listen to it in context. Okay, this, let me get back to 16th notes. Right. Another thing we can do to make this melody more expressive is to use vibrato. Oh, this patch doesn't have any vibrato. What a shame. But the pitch bends are, you don't do pitch bends on a flute. But maybe I could do that thing. So simulate vibrato with the pitch bends, but doing them very subtly. Ah, not that. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is gonna work. No, they need to be faster for this, but I'll leave that for some other day. Nice. We're in a great spot, my friends. Let me just give this another shot for 2 minutes, see if I can make it work. I think if I set my quantization to 16 and use, not that one, the paint tool, but using signs. Let's see. That's too much. like that. Almost close. Just a tiny bit like that. Yeah, I think it will work. Just tiny bits like that. Yeah, it's working. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think we pulled it off after all, my friends. That was cool. All right. Nice. Yeah, this is sounding very, very cool. Finally, let's see if we can do something with this koto. Of course, it sounds too dry and clangy. But nothing that a little bit of reverb can't fix. Awesome sound. All right, back in the fray. Okay, not sure what I want to do with this koto. Yeah. something like that will work. Now it's doing... Still playing with the E minor pentatonic. Something like that. That'll work just fine. 16th notes, I think. I just love that sound. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that'll work. Kind of like an arpeggio thingy. Yeah, why not? Let's do this. We could do it pedal like that, or harmonic, by adjusting the notes to the chords. Maybe a combination of both. Maybe the last one, I'll change some of the notes to align with the D major chord. Yep, I like it. Some delay. Nice, right? Yeah. This is sounding cool, right, guys? All right, so let's get into the phase where... Okay, let me apply a little bit of compression here, just so the... Oop, not that. Just so the notes don't sound so plucky, or a little bit more controlled. Compress, set this before the delay. Nice. All we need is some cool Van Damme moves. We're ready for the fight. All right. So, what we just created here is what I consider our main stack, or foundation, 8-bar loop, whatever you want to call it. So, today, like we always do, I'm going to go for a very quick and dirty 40 bar arrangement. So I'm just going to copy this straight into what I'm going to consider my chorus. All right, so this is where everything is going to be grooving. Cool. Now I think I'm going to leave the koto. For the bridge. All right. And for sure, let's do a quick and dirty arrangement. I was saying that, of course, I want the bass to be on my verse and the bridge. Not sure about the outro. I know for a fact that I also want my drums to be here, here, and here. That's just a fact of life. Certainly you want to crash here. Oh, we haven't created any drum fills, but we will. You can't have 80s fight music without some cool gated reverb toms. Alright, shaker. I'm not sure if I want this thing across the entire track or only on the chorus. We'll see. The marimba is going to be the element that glues the whole thing together. So we're going to start with marimba. It's going to play throughout. Not sure if it's going to play over the bridge or during the bridge. We'll see. Okay, but right now I'm just taking, applying broad strokes like 80-20 where I think I want this to go. Okay, so let's see what else. The drums. Flute is only going to play here. I think the koto, for sure we want it on the bridge. The marimba, the flute, the pads. I'm not sure where we want the pads. For now, let's play them on the bridge and outro. And maybe the verse as well. Shaker. Let's continue the shaker here. Oh, and our percussion groove. We certainly want this here and here. We'll see. And for the intro, okay, let's work on the intro. Those are like 80-20, I think that's what we'll do. What we could do here is use the drums, but only the kick and hats. Okay, but the kick playing 4 on the floor. That's what I'm talking about. And possibly here this should have been, or this should be a longer intro if I were to turn this into a track, but for now it's gonna be, well, you know what, I could have just duplicated this thing like this. So for now it's gonna feel a little short or rushed, but that's fine. And I'm only gonna play E as a pedal tone here. Yeah, cool. All right. Hold on, there's a little bit of a resonance here driving me crazy. This one right here. think as far as the intro goes, that's it for me. Just like that. Like the percussion loop, the high end, like those kinds of shakers or something are sticking out a little too much for me. I don't want them to interfere, so I'm just going to use a high shelf to bring them down some. Mostly I only want these low frequencies there, low mids. Cool. I like this. For here, we're gonna need a little something just to reset or reboot the attention of the listener, but I think that's gonna be maybe some notes from the flute, kind of foreshadowing what's to come. Okay, so let's do this. Let me listen to this thing from the beginning. Okay, so for me, the intro is done. I just need tom fills, and I know that. Now the verse. Oops. Okay, for shadowing flute somewhere. Okay, but I'll come back to it later. Okay, definitely I want a tom fill here, here, and here. And really, the chorus, I like it how it is. There's some low mids frequencies here in the pad rubbing me the wrong way. Let's clean them up. For example, here. All of this gunk. I don't want it. Yeah, all of this low mid stuff. All of that's where we're leaving out. We can't hear it in the mix. At least this we can, but it's really eating up our bandwidth. And we can make this sound smoother with the filter as well. For me, the chorus is great as it is. Except for the tom fill. And maybe some minor automation here and there, but I think we got the elements that we need for that to sound cool. Let's work on the bridge. Right? Sounds good to me. I don't want any other elements here, maybe some minor mixing, but all things considered, I think this is done. Let's just listen the transition between the chorus and the bridge. Here. Okay, we got the lead, got a number of elements, and then the bridge. I could mute the pads, not sure. Just so the koto sticks out more and it feels different from the chorus. Yeah, you know what? I like it like that. So, bridge is done. Now the outro, what do we want to do here? Well, similar to the intro, but in reverse, as I like to say. Let's do this. And this pedal bass. Okay, I feel like we're missing a bit of a melodic element here. What about the koto, maybe? I think that's cool. We'll just fade out the outro. So from an element perspective, layers and stuff, I think it's done. The only thing we need is the foreshadowing flute. So let's work on that and then do a little bit of automation and mixing. So on this verse, Yeah, I think that'll work. Something like that. So what I was doing there, still playing with the pentatonic. I think I need 30-second notes here. Yep, that will work. Let's get back to 16th. Let's duplicate this and then just change the notes. You know what? Yeah, I want to do that. I want to space out these motifs or foreshadowing melodic elements, just so the verse feels more sparse. And here we could do... like that. Nice. All right, cool. So, arrangement is done. Now, let's hit into the mixing phase. Someone suggested a gong. And you know what? That is not a bad idea, maybe somewhere. The thing is that I don't know if I have time to find a gong sound. I know that there has to be one somewhere. So let me try to find one in 2 minutes flat. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the... Again, this is the 20,000 patch zip file that you can find online. If I go here to instruments, there's a folder with percussion and orchestra. Maybe one of these is a gong, possibly percussion, bells, chimes, drums, percussion tuned. Wow, again, 20,000 presets. You can really get lost here and just play stuff where... Oops. Sorry there, guys. I don't know what happened with Dext. That was weird and really... Sorry about your ears and whatever I may have blown up. That was weird. Alright, once more, let me give this another minute. Now with the volume really down. Okay, percussion, bells, chimes, vibraphone. Maybe that's what you get for using a free synth. Here we have a gong, but it doesn't sound too good. Let's see. Awesome. But not what we're looking for. Another minute. No, I think it will take me a while. To find a gong here. Well, in any case, I'll leave that for some other time. After that wide noise explosion, I thought my computer was gonna blow up. Alright, back to where we were. I don't remember what I was going to do here. Alright, so the mixing phase. Let's see where we are. Alright. Oh, I still need my tom fills. That's the only thing that I need to compose, quote unquote. Alright, let's do that here. I think that'll work. Let's take a listen. Okay, let me create a VCA channel for this, which is kind of a group just to control the volume. Maybe a little bit more reverb on these things. For that, what's the easiest way to accomplish that in here? Okay, let me create a Tom's verb. Let's use Valhalla played for that. All my toms send to the Tom's verb, like a lot. Let's bring the width in. Okay, let's apply an EQ. like that, and a gate. Okay. You know what? Do I have time for that? Let me do this. I prefer creating a bus for these channels. Let me get rid of the send. Okay, remove this. Remove the toms reverb. Okay, now I have my toms bus. The toms bus is going to go to my drum bus, right? Okay. Okay, and in a similar fashion, let's put the plate here. It's gonna be easier to manage the mix by having it like this. Right. Now the gate. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, I think that'll do it. Now let me just listen to the intro. Maybe we're lacking a little bit of power there from the toms. That was too much. Yeah, I like it like that. We can tweak it later. So we have this drum fill here. We need a couple more. And let's do one here. This one we can reuse. So we'll just create a new one over here. And reuse this one here. And I'm just visually creating these boxes so I don't forget what I'm trying to do here. You know what? Actually, maybe we could include the snare in our... I like that very much, so we don't need this. Okay, and let's do the same kind of approach for here. But maybe a little bit more intense. Nice. Cool. Just so I don't forget, let me color this one differently. Alright, alright, alright. I think we're getting somewhere, my friends. Alright. Let's take it from the top. And see where we are. You know, actually what? No, let's start on the chorus. I like it very much. Me likey. I consider the chorus done. Let's listen to the bridge. Like some toms there. Could sound cool. Man, these drums sound banging. The Yamaha RX5 are some of my favorite drums. They're from the late 80s. Very different from the Lin and 707. They just have this hi-fi and real drums quality that, depending on the track, something like this, man, it sounds like it was really recorded by a drummer. All right, let's do this. That. Yeah, Nice. Syncopation is great, my friends. Use plenty of syncopation in your tracks. Nice. Nice. I like that very much. Very cool. Now the toms are a little loud here towards the end. Don't know why. Did I? Oh yeah, because I had some toms here previously. Same here. Had forgotten about this. Okay. Yeah, I like the bridge where it is. Really, there's nothing for me to do. The chorus and the bridge, nothing bothers me, and I think the levels are where I like them. Certainly, I call this done. Now for the outro, I said I wanted a fade out. But let's see if we need other adjustments here. So certainly I don't want the koto to be so loud here during the outro. I want it to blend in a little more. Now these are the kinds of details that you need automation for, because I don't want to undo the level that I have here. Just want to bring it down like 2 dB maybe. What if we brought back this foreshadowing element? Yeah, I like it. All right, let's do a fade for the outro. F3. You know what? Before I do this, no, let me do this and then take care of that other thing. Okay, here's our main fader. Nice. Yeah, I like that. So we took care of the fade out. This is done. I'm not sure about the intro and the verse, but we're almost there. Now let me do some other thing here that I forgot, which is let's head over to our drum bus. Drum bus, tums bus, drum bus. Okay. Let's apply a little bit of compression and tape and some other goodies. And compression. Same deal, 30 milliseconds attack. This time 2:1 ratio. Release 100 milliseconds. And the threshold down until we see 2 dB of gain reduction or less there. Just a little bit. That's too much. Just a little bit. Same deal with our synth bus. Again, bring down the threshold till I see like a dB or dB and a half. I don't want to go crazy with the compression. Just a little bit. And then my master channel. And the SSL bus compressor, 30 milliseconds attack, 1.5 ratio, 100 millisecond release, using the side chain so the kick and the bass don't dominate the action here. And I'm just going for 2 dB gain reduction. Alright, that's very cool. Now let me double check my intro and the verse, and we can call it a day, my friends. Nice. Do we need a crash here? Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. What about just a snare hit here towards the end? Bum, bum. Or that? Nice. Yeah, I'm liking it very much. One final thing. Oh, that's cool. So, I think I'm done with the verse as well. I don't need any other automation, any nothing. Let me just do a quick check, and we'll play top to bottom and call it a day. I'm not sure if that koto is now a little too loud for me. Not bad, but... Let me bring the toms down just a little bit. Alright, everything else is just like icing on the cake and little details here and there, but I think all in all, we're in pretty good shape. So let's play this thing from top to bottom. This is our Bloodsport Van Damme fight sequence. Here goes nothing. Man, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? Very cool. I love how the drums came out. It's just like, they sound so good, and this sounds very authentic as well. Again, part of it is using some of the sounds that were used back in the 80s for these soundtracks, like the drums, the DX7 or the DX emulation, and also some of the processing and some of the techniques. Again, no sidechain, no noise sweeps, reverse filters. All of that stuff was hardly used in certain, of course, depends on the track, depends on the band, but at least for this kind of thing, it wasn't that much used. So setting those kinds of things aside and really trying to go for more of an authentic feel can pay dividends handsomely. So I'm really happy with this. Let me see if I have any closing remarks. No, I don't think I have anything else to add. Just that, as always, try to get out of your comfort zone. Listen to stuff that you like. Try to recreate it. Go for a similar vibe. It doesn't have to be note for note like we did here. I kind of went for the vibe. Go out and look for that. What was the name of this track? Fight for Your Life or whatever. I forgot the name. In any case, it's very much in that similar vein. I wasn't going for exactly the same thing. I put a lot of my musicality, of my taste into this while playing with certain restricted parameters or self-imposed restrictions. I wanted to go for a authentic 80s vibe, right? And it came out very well. There's a lot of choices that I had to make consciously to steer this thing into a certain direction. And again, always getting out of your comfort zone is really helpful. Even though this may not be your bread and butter sound for your kind of synthwave, I wouldn't call this synthwave, more maybe retrowave or 80s inspired, but in any case, getting out of your comfort zone is really cool. And even if your music is very different from this, if you go for these kinds of exercises, think of them as training. Once you make your music for real, you'll see that there's little things that you bring into it that you wouldn't have unless you do these kinds of trainings and exercises and getting out of your comfort zone. In any case, I hope you guys like this. I hope that I inspired you in a certain way, in any way, and really explore FM via Dext. Again, there's like 20,000 presets in this single zip file somewhere out on the internet. And there's really, really cool sounds in FM. And most of the time, you're going to need a little bit of reverb and a little bit of delay, sometimes chorus, and you see how they come alive. And with one synth, you can make so many different sounds, or find presets that give you all those different sounds. And once more, I hope you guys like this. Alonso here from Synthwave Dojo, signing out, and wishing you a great day, afternoon, or evening. Keep synthwaving, my friends. Keep synthwave alive. Ciao.